It's a new intro.
It's so shiny.
It's so shiny. We're all here. What's up, everybody? It is Monthly Minutes, episode 13.
Wow.
Holy shit. That's so many.
We're not babies anymore.
We ain't babies anymore.
That means it's been a year and a month, right? Since this whole thing began.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Whoa. That's kind of crazy. Well, cool. We have people with me and us, and I'm Mystic, and that's how I introduce myself. How about the rest of you?
Hey, I'm Liz. She, her. I play Scylla, the sad Lady Knight Paladin. I'm found as the Mulan Rogue everywhere. I'm going to hand it over to one of my cast members.
Yeah.
We're going a circle. I'm Avis. I play Ziba, DD. Who knows? We're all bad at names here, right? And I'm only known by Avis here. This is it. That's how I do this.
I thought it was universal now.
Shh! They're gonna find me.
And
Don't let them find you.
I'm Adam, he, him. I play Godfrey. I'm known in other places as Fondue Rage, but we're here for Monthly Minutes.
Bow, 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 bow. Oh, guess what?
What?
Wow.
It was so quiet for me. What was that?
That's an air horn sound.
Oh.
Bow, 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 bow.
A klaxon?
A+ content.
We're so good at this.
Yeah.
I want us to never be good at this. Yeah, cool. That we're gonna chat about episodes that have aired since last month's episode of Monthly Minutes. That is episode 49 through 52. So a few episodes to cover today. At the end, we have a Q&A with everyone where we all ask each other questions, which we answer, and we answer questions from the chat. So feel free to pop them in there, and we'll answer your burning questions. So yeah, let's just dive right in to chat about the episodes. Episode 49, Goodbye to Wimpston.
They'll be fine.
Yeah. You have so much confidence, Sima.
I was spiraling during the last Monthly Minutes, so this
I know.
is what I've gotten to. I had to go through all the stages of grief first.
You made me spiral a little bit when you were like, so are they good?
The answer's no, but you can write fanfiction to your heart's content.
The answer, yes. Write all the fan fiction, please. I celebrate it.
Write the happy endings they deserve, because they're not going to get them. Not from us.
Yeah, well, the party, you sleep in Wimpston after Morgus does that prayer to Maya with the villagers that makes all of you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then you gather your stuff and you go to head out. Kevin, Philip, Zara, Aurora leave you on your way. Thank you for your service. Ask you what your name is. No one has a good answer.
You can't force it. You gotta let it happen naturally.
Yeah.
We're still not sure who's staying. I'm sure, like, at least two of us aren't paying their dues yet, right?
Oh no, they paid their dues the first
Did-
month at least.
Did I pay them, or did
Libby
Libby
paid
pay
for
them?
Ziba.
But
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be organic, though. Like, a name's got to... I don't know. Gotta
Yeah.
be right.
It's gotta be right. Well, from there was some tension. We head into the woods, but it was really just a heartfelt episode of Goodbye to Wimpston. Godfrey checked in on the fellow that was paralyzed. Ziba reconnects folks to missing people and also realize that parents lie to their children instead of having difficult conversations.
So unrealistic. You know it's a fantasy world. It never happens.
Yeah. And then we take a long rest in the woods, and that's really the end of the episode. If I'm missing anything important, someone please stop me. But I think it was a pretty, one of our most straightforward episodes.
Let me go get my notes. I'm woefully unprepared.
It's okay. We were having a powwow before this started, so it's not a big deal.
And the notes never came up in that whole time?
No, they didn't. We were talking
Shocking.
business.
Continue with
We're
that.
talking business, Avis.
I still feel like the notes would find a way.
Adam was helping me plan the BBEG for the stream.
What? You're in it. You can't do that.
No, he's not.
He's
He's
not.
not in the stream.
Oh my gosh, he's not.
Nope, he can. So he's planning our murder, is what he's doing.
I don't know how to feel about that.
I feel betrayed.
Like, you couldn't be there, so you can't let us see us succeed without you? Like, what's
He's
it
like not a
about?
shitty DM either, though. Like it's not like
Adam might be a better DM than I am.
we're so fucked.
You don't
We're
survive.
so
It's my fault.
fucked. This is gonna be on camera too.
You heard it here.
Yes,
If we don't
please,
survive,
Mayor.
it's his fault.
That's it.
I remember
That's
that.
it. We just became like powdered truffle.
I'm overly attached to my character on this one shot, so I'll be very upset with you.
Oh no.
Well,
We wouldn't want that, is what I just heard her finish that with.
Oh no. Anyway, episode 49.
yeah.
Did I miss anything, Adam?
I'm definitely looking at the wrong session. So you're good.
All
What
right.
we think is relevant is really just Wild Goose Chase.
Well, episode 50 was very juicy. So I want to give it a good amount of time. So, episode 50, you all start. I don't know what happened, but it was almost like all of your characters just settled and were able to finally think about what was happening. The beginning of the episode, though, you go back past the pseudo dragons, which was beautiful. I loved that nature fail and then the con success that Ziba had. It doesn't matter that you don't know what you're picking up because it doesn't affect you.
Because you can
It's
just
cool.
body the poison, whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
There's also this beautiful dad moment between Godfrey and Ziba afterwards where Avis Ziba was like, but they didn't, I wanted to try to catch one. Why didn't they, was my costume not good enough? And Godfrey was like, they were sleeping. I didn't see you.
On any good long road trip, there needs to be a father-daughter moment where there's just are you just dumb or obnoxious? All right.
Yeah. And then, yeah, that awesome moment where Scylla's picking off the plants and replacing them with ones that aren't poisonous. It was a good moment.
Just doing what she can with her knowledge of growing things.
Mhm.
It's just a headspace. If you don't think they're poisonous, you're fine.
That's sure. That's how that works.
Tested
Well-
multiple times.
Yeah. From there, there's a tensious moment, a conversation before you all, or maybe on the way to the pseudo dragons, where Scylla, you start kind of picking at Godfrey, and Godfrey's just like, let's wait till this evening. Let's make camp. We'll talk then. And sure enough, you all make camp and the floodgates open and everyone starts freaking out, but specifically Godfrey. And yeah, I'm curious, Adam, like why Godfrey felt like this information was like time, like that there needed to be a right time or right place.
Well, I feel like for him, he was still dealing with what was happening, right? Because being in Godfrey's headspace, it's just been one long day for him, like since this happens, because he doesn't sleep anymore. He can't sleep anymore. So for him, he's been trying to process this over the time. While we were in Winston, he was trying to help people. He was trying not to fall into his own like mind trap, essentially, and become like useless. And so Scylla keeps asking him like if he's okay. And like Godfrey is an honest person. Like he doesn't try to withhold information when he's asked about something. He tries to be straightforward about it. But up until this moment, he felt like we needed to keep going or to be able to be focused. And he felt that Godfrey had to be able to be there and in himself in case anything went wrong. Like for that day, it was especially getting through the field of pseudo dragons because he knew that last time, someone, picked a flower and we got attacked by a swarm of pseudo dragons. And
Were we ever attacked? I don't think there was a single hit made. I think it was,
I got
there was a
hit. I got
threat.
hit by a pseudo dragon. Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. Maybe you have a personal grudge.
Yeah.
Adam, I have a question for you. In that moment, did you perceive that as Scylla asking from a caring place or from a tactical place from her position in the court?
I felt it came from like a caring place because Scylla has been asking since the day that it happened. And Godfrey has been purposely putting it off every day that Scylla's been asking. So in my mind, this continued during that time skip we had there at the end of that episode too, where Godfrey would just be like, it's not now. Like, it's not now. Like, I'm not okay, but I'll tell you about it when I can, kind of idea.
Yeah.
So, but was it? Or was it just
Do we have to
tactical from Scylla?
question all of your motives now?
No. I'm relieved to hear you say that because I think there was a turning point when that happened that otherwise, like, they've known each other for a bit. There is an established working relationship where that might have previously come from a place of like, are you good to move on or do I have to put you down in order for the rest of this not to be compromised? This is coming from a place of care and concern. And was potentially like grating. So I'm super glad that's your perception of it.
Yeah, no, it wasn't at all grating in my mind or in my character's mind.
Not grating, but like a not now kind of like stop pushing the issue kind of deal.
Yes. Exactly. But yeah, that's why I thought then it was the time. We were like the rest of the road was easy road. He had been putting it off as long as he could. There was a couple of moments where I was like, am I just going to have Godfrey be the person who will never answer this question? Well, Godfrey just was that part of his character that he just will always say it's not the right time and then will never address it until it's a big problem. But I didn't think that lended into how I was playing him up to that point. So, and it's nice to be able to talk about your character's internal monologue outside. So
Yeah. Avis, Liz, do you all think that Godfrey's a Dampier?
No.
No.
But I don't know my options, so.
Yeah. So do Scylla and Ziba?
I'm not even sure Ziba has an understanding of what a dampier is yet.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like, it's Godfrey.
Yeah.
Same with Livy. When Livy made a whole deal about, I'm a dampier. It was like, nah, it's Livy.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of where it's at.
I think Scylla deals in monsters and like abhorrent things. So while she probably doesn't have like a back history of like Dampiers, she knows something's off. Can we fix it? Who the fuck knows?
Yeah. Well, that whole conversation escalates and gets pretty. It's a kind of a downer for Godfrey specifically until Morgus just gives this epic monologue of like, you were there for me. Don't give me this lecture on who are you. I don't even fucking remember my name. I gave myself my name, you know? Like, you have to, I'm now going to be this person for you. And like, we're going to rebuild this together, which I thought was amazing. And then you were just like, I give him a big hug. And I was just like, ah, oh shit. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just had a thought in my own head that I like dissociated about that I'm going to message you in a bit and we can freak out over it. Okay. But as you were talking, something just clicked for me and I went, oh, fuck. And something in the back of my brain just went, zzz.
Nice. Okay. Well, after that, everyone kind of heads their directions. You all have dinner and you go to bed, except for Godfrey, who stays up because he doesn't sleep. And you witness the sounds of Morgus dreaming, being woken up. You hand him some tea, which I thought was perfect. Like, I know what Godfrey's passive is. He, of course, heard that. Like, there's no way that he didn't. And so when you played that the way that you did, I was just like, yes.
Yeah, I was hoping that I wasn't going to intrude on like that moment he was having, but I also just like cut through it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was great. And you all wake up, and again, Godfrey, kind of being the rock of the party at this point in some ways, which is interesting because you're going through your own shit, has this existential dread is not even the appropriate word for it, but this conversation about living forever with Livy.
It's so funny that Livy had that, because that was something that I was considering having Godfrey talk about too when he was doing his initial spiral the night before. And was just like, it's okay, I don't have to put this all on right now. And then Livy wakes up and like, here's the second half of why you're concerned about your position that you're in, and I'm concerned about it too.
The
It's
next
like, oh,
course of dread.
yeah, great.
I'm here to walk you through phase 2 of what this is.
Yeah.
There was this great line from Ed, like, it's fine, we'll either die in the heat death of the universe or we'll be together or something like that. And I was just like, God damn it, Ed. Just like, oh, my heart. Yep.
Put it on a t-shirt. To the heat death of the universe.
Die violently or in the heat death of the universe. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You also have a moment with the crow and Erebus that night.
Mm-hmm. There's a murder of crows flying
More birds.
More
in the
birds.
trees. Yeah.
How are you feeling about that and the message of when I'm ready for you?
Yeah. Only when I'm ready for you. That's definitely this is bad, but probably not going to be helpful if I tell other people that this happened. So I guess Godfrey's just going to sit on this one.
That was the second part of my question. Like, did you decidedly choose not to tell the rest of the party about that experience because of that?
I did decidedly choose not to tell the rest of the party about that, because I think there's a couple of things that are going on for Godfrey. One of them is, I think he's slowly losing his mind, not being able to sleep. So there's part of it where he's not sure if that was actually Erebus talking to him or if that was him imagining her talking to him. And the other one is just like, he's already touched base with everyone in the party about what would happen if things do go south. And like, bringing it up again, I didn't think would yield anything, or Godfrey didn't think would yield any kind of different responses, or would like make people act in ways that wouldn't be helpful for what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. The party shoves off, and you make it to Florencia, only to find some buildings missing. Which for me, I was like, oh shit. Like, how do I put this? I don't want the cities to feel, I want the cities to feel like a little bit of a solace, but I also want them to feel real and impacted by the world. And so I was like, oh, they're heading home. This is like this heartfelt like travel and this decompression. And then you all realize that the city has been wounded in some way. But I loved everyone's different reactions to that. Yeah, we can start. Well, Ed was just like, well, fuck. Ziba eventually got to the point where once you realized it was like a Cyclops was associated with the red lights, that spin out about like, what if they're in Synth Grab? Like, where I need to go right now. I need to leave. That was beautiful. Does she still feel that way, or is it like what you've said with Ziba a few times, where it's like if someone distracts her from something, it's kind
Memory
of
of a goldfish. I think it's definitely still there, like might keep her up at night, but it doesn't hold on to anything for long. You know, not grudges. You know, not maybe important events or names. Just kind of, she's very living life by the seat of her pants. And
Yeah.
So, and right now, there's a lot of different concerns. And she hasn't really developed a sense of prioritization yet. So it's just whatever concerns in front of her at that moment seems to be the greatest concern.
yeah.
Which might lead to some concerns being blown out of proportion.
Yeah, Scylla and Godfrey both kind of take it all in stride. Like, I don't think either of you played off any sort of like big reaction to learning that. And Liz, I was curious if it was because you already knew that was going to be there, or if it was like Scylla.
No, I genuinely don't think I can ruin this game for myself, even with like new things that I learn. But I don't know if it's just because I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna say that it's this. I'm enjoying myself so much in these moments that I'm not like, I don't know. I don't want to spoil them. So I think it is Scylla just being like, well, fuck, we left and this happened. It's not going to do me any good to freak out about it. I have to go back and make sure things are okay and then deal with what to do now. Because panicking while I was away isn't going to change this, but action and like organization will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about Godfrey?
Yeah, I mean, for Godfrey, this happened in Winston, and just seeing it happen here was like something he was hoping wouldn't have been the case, but that it was. Like, it wasn't. It's kind of the same as what Liz was saying. It's like this happened. The threat's clearly gone. People are cleaning up after it. There's nothing we could do about this because it's in the past. But in that exact moment, we were also like Godfrey was also trying to get to somewhere specific to kind of tuck himself away and hide.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there was a little bit of a self-inflicted, if people, as he was walking through the street, if people knew what I am now, would they be trying to throw me on those piles too? Kind of idea. So he was trying to avoid it and walk away from it all.
Poor Godfrey.
I hate that.
Me too. Well, you do find solace with George, and he tucks you and Morgus away. Morgus wanders out for food and brings back coloring books and pens, and you all hang out in George's little nap shack. While Scylla and Ziba and Libby go to the court. Which I loved everything about that. I loved that Ziba and Libby just jumped right in, telling everyone everything that happened, like conspiracy board, like with the the nails and everything. And that was a beautiful moment. I love specifically, it was when you were like, Ziba is helping by giving the most unnecessary information, like the silliest details.
I just feel like, someone who is, from a significantly different background and age than the rest of the group is going to just pick up on the very different things than those who know what is actually probably relevant to, like, detective work or, like, strategy or war strategy. Like, none of that. So it's going to be the random stuff where you're like, what was served at lunch that day? And you're going to be like...
Yeah, but like you never know when that kind of thing is going to be super relevant, and when like a kid has picked up on something that has completely solved the case that crack detectives couldn't, like, I can't think of any specific examples because I think kids are creepy and weird, but like they do pick up on things sometimes that adults don't see. Yeah. Ghosts.
That's why they're creepy and weird.
Exactly. But like I think the fact that you have Ziba pick up on those unnecessary details like just speaks to the depth of character that you built into them.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Just kids are weird and they have that different perspective.
Yeah, I loved it. And then we get this really beautiful interaction between Scylla and Weaver, where you were just like, oh, you're really not good, are you?
Can you... all right, without saying too much, can you tell how guilty I feel about what happened in the other game and how much better I'm trying to be than Weaver this time? It's all guilt. It's all guilt that like I didn't. It's Bach all over again, is what it is. It's
oh
Bach.
no!
It's fucking Bach.
I mean, this is for our Patreon subscribers. They can know that the Wednesday group allowed Weaver to die.
I love Weaver so much, and I felt so bad that I didn't get to spend more time with her. That like I am doing everything to take care of her this time.
I didn't get that it was that as much as I got that it was just like. That I think was like the first like real Scylla moment we got in the podcast. Like walls down. Oh, you're trying to make that again? It's pretty difficult.
And I think it makes sense too. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's not just because of the guilt. I think Weaver is a character that Scylla can do that with. And like have those kind of super authentic walls down moments.
Yeah. It was really fun for me to play too because I was like, Weaver's never been like this before. Like it was a fun new like part of the character. Yeah.
Did that catch you out when I was like, oh, you're trying, and I like named a pastry? I think it was like Milfoy. I was like, oh, you're trying.
It was Milfoy. Yeah, and I still to this day have no idea what that is. I should Google it.
It's like 1,000 layer like crepe and cream bullshit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean it did, but I was also like, yes, this is someone that knows her, right? Like this is someone, these two know each other, and like. If anyone else would have come in to try to talk to her, I don't know if it would have gone. Like, if Livy had come back with you, you would not have gotten the answers you got. Like, you would not have had the interactions that you had. And I think I've said this before. I just, like, fall into the characters, and then they just kind of come out of me. But I remember after I said it, like, oh, that was mean. But when I was like, Scylla, you left him?
That was good. That hurt. That hurt.
I think I like in the background at that moment I went, oh shit.
No, that stung a little bit. That was that was good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. Which is telling on myself. I don't care, but
I mean, we've talked about how I've made Weaver to be like the impossible mother. The motherly figure that just does all of the impossible things.
You know what? Let's move on to the next part of the episode.
It was
let's. You know what? Let's.
that you
I don't have to unpack this. No, I think Weaver is great, and I think like the consideration that you put into those aspects of her while making her like super strong, I think is why she's one of my favorite NPCs so far.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
There's also a really great moment that happens while Scylla's in the kitchen where Ziba docks herself, but you did it so quietly that no one else heard except for me, and then I had Linus like
typically how it
chirp up.
goes.
Linus was like, "You weren't alive 15 years ago?" Yeah, it's great.
The
And then-
smallest ways.
Yeah. To cap it all off, Ulu comes out with new gauntlets, and Scylla finally accepts pieces of new armor,
That you do.
begrudgingly.
Or, I mean, she took them. She made a deal for them, so I'm not gonna go back on that.
And she wants a whole new set.
I was surprised that your character just fully committed to that all of a sudden. Like, so begrudging for so long, and all of a sudden you're like, nah, throw it out.
It's really mismatched. Like me as a person, that would drive me nuts to have it mismatched.
Was that really the problem all along?
No.
Wasn't anything sentimental, just like an OCD take if you can't have mismatching armor?
No, I mean, we've also been together, I think, by that point, in enough time for her to make new gauntlets. So I think it's still coming around to, like, letting go of, things that are not serving her. Why do you look so skeptical? Why does that sound
There's
shady?
more there. There's more there. I don't believe it for a second.
We all know
I
there's
don't know
a
what you
future.
think I'm hiding.
Everything.
She's just
Talk about
depressed.
Conversations that haven't come up yet in these episodes.
You get out of your silly part of your note journal. Imagine Adam's got tabs on all of us.
Mean?
I thought about making that a Patreon poll. Like the what race is Godfrey one really popped off. I loved seeing what everyone thought. So I was like thought about making a poll of like, who do you think Scylla's like deity is?
Oh. Again,
Manchuria.
I fucked up in playing this character that now nobody trusts me.
It's not that we don't trust you, it's that you're deliberately hiding something. We're trying to find out what it is.
Yeah. I will
think
stop
the
myself from
difference
saying
here
that.
is that we don't know what you're hiding. Like everyone else, they're aware that their character's hiding something, but it's either a case of like we kind of know what they're trying to hide, like it's their age, it's their race, we know what it is, or it's a case of well they don't know either, but we know what's hidden, but none of us know. Your case, something's hidden, but we don't know what's hidden, and it's given.
I don't think I know what's hidden now.
You sure? Because you act like you do. That's the difference there.
Well, now you're making me nervous, though. Now you're making me feel like I have something to hide.
Yeah.
No, Mom, it's not my weed, but...
Yeah.
Mhm.
Keep an eye on you.
Well, that takes us all the way up to episode 52 from this week. The party from Carousel Court finds out that Godfrey is not allowed within a half mile of the court, but that Weaver still very much wants updates and there's still allowed resources there. And the rest of them head out. Livy, Scylla, and Ziba make a pit stop at the city building, the guard building, to check Livy's P.O. box. I want to know why Ziba has not read this letter.
I think because she had expectations and they've already kind of been let down and now she's just scared.
The expectations of there being more than one letter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was really expecting more than one letter. She's got a lot of really close family members she's really close to. And so for there to only be one letter, it's kind of like, your parents walked in the house and you hear that tone and all of a sudden you're like, oh my crap. In our rooms, everyone in our rooms is the bathroom clean? Is the dishwasher empty? And it's like, there's only one letter. Or it's based on current events. It's just something horrific. Like someone was just nice enough to respond and be like, hey, your whole family's dead.
Whoa.
So, spiraling. And we need time to spiral.
This poor party.
The longer you take to open the letter, the more things can be contained in that letter. Like Schrodinger's letter.
It is.
The longer time goes on, it's just getting added to. It's just the worse it gets, the heavier the contents inside are.
Yeah, which is very it's just a very interesting juxtaposition to Livy getting a letter and instantly opening it because Zibba said one thing like, who's that from? And he's just like, I'm opening it.
After initially being like, I'm going to pocket this and not read it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll work up to it.
Yeah.
There's two ways it's either going to go down, and I know the two ways. You'll find out.
Yep. Yeah.
I know. There's two cases where I'll read the letter. I know exactly when I want to read the letter, but
All right.
I have to wait for one of those cases to happen.
That's totally fair. After the letter, you all leave the city building and you head back to George's hut and you all cram inside. And there is a lot of conversation, a lot of planning, a lot of talking, a lot of sharing personal thoughts and feelings about what's going on. And I'm curious, what questions you all have for each other around that. What stood out for you about the talk in George's hut? How are you all feeling about that kind of spiral?
I think I was coloring on the ground at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were. And then people got a little mad and they were like, we're going to have to clean this up. This is someone else's property.
Yeah, I think especially because of Scylla's... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Did that make it into the episode? I don't remember hearing.
The drawing on the floor?
I remember the drawing on the floor, but I don't remember anyone reacting to the drawing on the floor.
Livy says one thing about it, and then it's kind of moves on. Yeah.
That's kind of what we've gotten to. It's just like, okay, if it's a thing. Anyways, what were we talking? Yeah, that's chill.
Yeah.
No, I guess all of that conversation, Godfrey was very quiet for and just listening to for most of it until the end when he's like, we don't have enough information. Let's wait.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just go to our boat. Have a nice time.
Yeah. What I will say, there is one thing that Ed said in this episode, in this section, that is Ed speculating, that is 100% accurate.
Mm.
Just opened so many conspiracy theories.
It's not about Dapper Doodads, though. That didn't make the cut.
That's the next episode.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I typically sit back when people are strategizing and then try my best to add the 2 cents or contribute in a way that I think makes the most sense for my character. But I very tend to overanalyze it. Like how I can contribute to strategy sessions. Because how I think as a person is typically very different to how my characters think. And so I'm always like, would my character know that?
That's fair.
And so I always overthink it. So I always just kind of like step back for a second and then like let other people kind of get some stuff out there and then think about how can my character contribute to it. So that started out with me just drawing on the floor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, after very little convincing, Livy decides that he's not afraid of water anymore, which is something that comes up throughout this conversation of like, what are we going to do next? And heads to the boat that Godfrey has rented, where Ziba swiftly runs to the helm and starts messing around with the steering mechanisms.
I've done it once before, I'm a pro now.
Godfrey's just like, it's okay, we're anchored. And then everyone finds a nice rest except for Scylla and Godfrey.
And Morgus took the freaking captain's quarters.
So good.
He gave you
so
every
good.
opportunity to say something, and nope. Yep, he went there.
How could you?
Yep. And that's where the episode ends. Like
I was going to say, I don't think we get into the conversation.
No.
I think that's where it...
We end,
and that's where it picks up next time.
Yep.
Yeah, Adam
Where's
was
the next episode?
telling me about this already. Yeah. The next episode's a good one.
Next episode's really... Next few are really good. I enjoyed recording the... Not that I don't enjoy recording all of them, but I think the next few, like, we're really starting to hit our stride.
I mean, downtime is downtime. Like, this is just like traveling and getting reacquainted to a city that you know that has changed slightly. And you all are different, you know?
For sure.
Yeah. Anything else to add before we move to questions?
I
No?
don't think so.
There we go.
All right, here we go. Question time. We don't have any chat questions. So
What?
this is a free-for-all.
I had a question for everyone, but one already got asked, which was why didn't Ziba open and read her letter from home? We already touched on that one.
Spiraling.
Another one that I had was, there have been a couple of times now where Scylla has become uncomfortable around conversations about divinity outside of Mysteria. Does this come from a typical upbringing, or is there more to that for us to discover as players and listeners, especially in the interaction about history and religion being written from the perspectives of the victor? In the most recent episode, Scylla was very much uncomfortable about that.
It's 1,000% her, like, super devout upbringing. Like, and it's funny. So, like, this is not something that Liz, grew up with. I was not somebody who grew up with any sort of, like, organized religion in my background. But I think Scylla's very much... Actually, I lied. I had a grandparent who was very, very devout. And so I think that's where a lot of this comes in. Very strict, very... it's weird. When I was younger, there was a book of, like, Greek gods that I brought home from Atlantic Books. And I was really excited to show her. She was babysitting me for the weekend, and I was going through it. And she, like, yelled at me, and she was like, that's like, nonsense. That's not true. And so I think that's probably something that I'm calling on and bringing into this, is her, like, super strict upbringing. Is there more? I don't know. I'm still building her, but yeah.
Okay. Cool. And I had one for Mystic, which was the Nonvos drop from the mushrooms always planned to happen in that sitting room Or was this in reaction to us not understanding where the Cyclops was going the episode before?
That's a complicated question.
Is
But one that I can answer. Liz and Avis already know this because they are one. Well, Liz is in the Wednesday group, and Avis is good friends with someone else in the Wednesday group. Nonvos is a character created as a product of the Wednesday game. That this lore drop never happened for the other group because the knowledge was already inherent as the members of the party. So I just had to figure it wasn't necessarily always going to happen at that like time trigger. I knew it was going to happen sometime before you all got too much into like whatever you were going to do in the city, and it just seemed like a good time to add this new bit of knowledge in. And it had nothing to do with like, oh, you're on the wrong track or anything, because this is genuinely new knowledge to the Forgotten Ones as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hold
That
on,
Wednesday
Liz.
group drop, though, was kind of funny.
Oh, we're not
my
there
God.
yet.
Oh,
Spoilers!
We're not even there yet.
see if you can catch it.
It's so obvious when we
I
do
died.
it.
I can't wait to get to that part again.
I wish I could use a clip of that, but I can't. But yeah, I wish I could pull the video from that section and just watch the faces. Yeah.
So good.
Because no one else has another one, I have one more for Liz and for Scylla. Why were you so insistent on trying to talk Ziba down from going home? When Ziba started to spiral about wanting to go home, Scylla was very quick to be like, hey, wait, let's think about this, instead of offering to do so. Is there a reason behind that?
That is a really good question. Why did none of you take your first opportunity to be like, yeah, we should send this child home? They finally want to go home. We should send them home.
Godfrey wasn't there for that conversation. Godfrey
Is it
promised
Regardless, there
you,
were
as soon as
300
you wanted to
people
go
there.
home, Godfrey would take you home. And he
And no one
wasn't
said a
there
word.
when you said that.
Right, because that's the thing. It isn't send this child home. It's take this child home. And this child transparently isn't my responsibility. My responsibility is to the court. So I'm not going to have you freak out outside. If you need to get home, let's do that after I get in and do my thing. Because I can't send you home either while you're freaking out here. And my responsibility is to get back inside and report back to Weaver. But I can probably help you arrange it. I'm just not about to walk your ass back to
Synth crap.
Synthgrab. Back to Synthgrab right now. When I've got reporting to do.
I really want to
interested
know
to
what
also-
Livy's reason is.
I know. Yeah.
He's not getting any kind of like child support from you, is he?
What do you think he's had to like pay
The
child
longer you're with
support?
us, the more he gets in his P.O. box.
He just made a killing that first time when.
If
she had
I
to do
open
the
that letter and
stream.
it's just a bunch of money from my parents saying, "Here's the child support, take care of this child, don't let him come back," that's gonna
Oh.
break me.
Ooh, no,
You
that's
should have
actually
opened
my
the
motivation.
letter. You should have opened the letter, because now there's all these possibilities, and only one of them are true.
That can't be true.
We're just not
There
gonna know.
is a direct path to Ziba's backstory that is unfolding behind the scenes.
Oh no.
And now you all chose to go underground somewhere. So I don't know what's going to happen.
What do you? We haven't done that yet.
No.
It's ridiculous.
Where do we go?
There's nowhere but up.
Well,
Or in your case, down.
That's cryptic.
It's okay. I have a spell to unlock doors.
Yeah, it's called Shatter.
Yeah, we're spoiling. We're spoiling.
It's okay.
moments of-
Liz already tweeted about it.
already
It's
spoiled. Yeah, I've already
fine.
talked about this. The second it happened, I tweeted it.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Ziba, I'm really curious, Avis, like, why isn't Ziba afraid of Godfrey? Like, his hair is turning white. He wears a mask. He's now, like, not breathing or sleeping. And, like, she's never once seemed to give it, like, a second thought.
I think there's a number of reasons here. Is that one, Ziba tries to be a little optimistic compared to the rest of the party when they're in a bit of a spiral. We'll try very hard to be like the optimistic face and like look at things from the positive side because she kind of needs that to keep going. Hasn't fully accepted depression yet, like the rest of everyone, it seems like.
Yeah.
And also just the fact that, you know, Ziba already had a pre-existing relationship with Godfrey's character. That's it. He's Godfrey now.
Yeah.
First impressions are very important when it comes to Ziba. Memory of a goldfish.
Yeah. What about Scylla? Like, has there ever been a moment since the tower incident where Scylla has, like, been afraid?
I don't know that she gets afraid as such. I think she identifies problems at this point, and she doesn't see Godfrey as a problem. I think fear I think is a different thing that she experiences. It's not so much like fright out of who someone is as opposed to like I don't know where I was going with that. I think it's more she doesn't see him as any kind of a threat.
Yeah. What about
Blindly
Godfrey?
just-
Is Godfrey afraid of himself?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you
He
all
doesn't
should be
believe he can
too.
be trusted. He's not 100% convinced that the second Erebus shows up that he's going to have any control over himself. Yeah. That was kind of part of his whole spiral in episode 50.
Mm-hmm.
He just doesn't know how much of him he's in control of anymore.
Yeah.
And thinks that that's a problem.
What does that do to your trust in us as like fellow players, and how has that changed how you interact with us?
I'm not sure, because like in some sense, Godfrey's become more open about what's happening than he was before. And this, without touching too much on the first scene of the next episode, I think that is where more of that comes out. But like, he was very purposefully trying not to get close to anyone because he knows like the kind of work that this is. He knows the dangers associated with it. He's come from like a history of fucked up shit, and so now that this has all happened and everyone's reactions have been what they are, he's realized that a lot of those conceptions he's been trying to make by putting up barriers aren't going to work anymore for what he wanted to do. So now he's trying to be more open and to trust everyone around him more. But I think a lot of that is because he trusts that the moment he loses control, if that happens, Scylla will kill him. And he is banking on that.
Huh.
I have one more question I would love to ask for Adam.
Mhm.
You and I know, and now the party knows because it was said in episode 50, that Godfrey's only goal in recent years has been to remove the mask.
Mhm.
If every situation that has happened to Godfrey throughout the story of this campaign up until this point, except for the aspect of the mask tearing his soul out if he tries to take it off. If that weren't the case, do you think Godfrey would have taken the mask off by now?
No.
Okay. Just curious, because you were talking about how like his boundaries are now like broken and shifted, and yeah.
Nope, that wasn't what he's looking for. He's looking for something more than that, which is maybe something that even I, as the person playing Godfrey, doesn't quite know yet.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely hasn't occurred yet in this campaign.
Yeah. If all of your characters were a noodle type, what noodle would they be? I don't know. I felt like we were in a very somber mood when it ended on an upswing. That was the first weird ass question I could think of.
I have so many questions. It just brings up more questions.
Buckwheat soba.
Ooh, yummy.
I don't know what that is.
It's like an Asian flat noodle.
Ah.
It's really good in like cold soy sauce.
Thick spaghetti noodles. The thick ones.
Yeah.
Penne.
Yeah. Lovely.
What about you?
What do you mean, what about me? Myself?
What about you? Yeah.
Who am I as a noodle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
What is
am.
the entire world of Piflu as a noodle?
Oh, the world of Plu as a noodle. It's one of those giant shell-shaped ones.
Oh, I love those. Stuffed cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
Yep. All right, well, that's it. That's it for this month's Monthly Minutes. Thank you for everyone for watching. And our next episode comes out next week, every Monday. Once a month, we're here. Adios.
Woo.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.